Hello, everybody. Good evening. Lovely to see so many of you here this evening. Oh, hi, Claire. Hi. Hi, Caroline, Lyndon. I can't call all your names out. Lovely to see some old faces, familiar faces,
Hello.
old and new.
Yeah, lots of friends. Good to see you.
Well, this is a real privilege, actually, to be able to host my long-term colleague and friend, Dr. Louise Livingstone's book launch. Finally, we've been talking and conversing for many years about her book and her projects and so forth, and it's just wonderful to see this finally have come to fruition. So, Louise's book, The Heart Sense Journey, is just recently released in the last week or two, isn't it, Louise? I think. And many of you know Louise, of course, because you've seen us many times online together, but some of you might be dropping in for the first time. So I'll just briefly introduce Louise. I'm sure she doesn't really need an introduction. And then I'll hand over to her. She's going to take you through a lovely meditation, and then I shall be asking her some questions and have a conversation about her book, and then we'll have a Q&A, and she'll read some pages from her book as well. So it's a great privilege to introduce Dr. Louise Livingstone, who I've known for many years. Louise was one of the tutors on the Masters in Myth, Cosmology and the Sacred at Canterbury Christ Church University. Prior to that, she studied at Schumacher College and has an MSc in holistic science. And since that, her work has grown and flourished, and she's continually focused and picked up the threads that she started to weave and had woven with her PhD, which was all about the heart, and the heart as an organ of imaginal perception, and how we can recover the wisdom of our hearts for today's modern world and modern challenges. She's also the founder of the Awakening, is it the Awakening Heart Collective that you,
Yes, that's
yes,
right.
the Awakening Heart
Co-founding member.
Collective,
Yeah.
and obviously a co-founder and co-director with me for the Centre for Myth, Cosmology and the Sacred. So without further ado, I shall hand over to Louise, and have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to speaking to you again in a second.
Oh, thank you, Mary, for that lovely introduction. That means a lot. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. It's so lovely to be here with friends old and new. Yeah, what I'd like to do first of all is just invite you to come into the contemplative space with me, inviting you into your heart. So I'm just going to share a little image I thought might be quite nice to accompany us as we are moving into the contemplative space together. And I would like to invite you, if it feels right for you, to place your palm or your palms over your heart. And you might also like to close your eyes or rest them in a soft gaze. And then just simply begin by breathing in and breathing out of your heart. So receiving the breath, the life-giving breath from the natural world, and drawing that breath with focused awareness, with gentleness, down into your heart space. And then breathing back out from your heart, back out to the natural world. And so with every in-breath and every out-breath, you are breathing in, taking in this beautiful world of ours with all of its interrelations, the out-breathing of the trees and the plants and the grasses and the rocks, all the chemicals released, so all the processes of this beloved earth that we are intricately embedded within, interweaved within. And drawing that life-giving breath down as a gift down into your heart, and letting it activate your heart, and then breathe back out from your heart, back out to the natural world. And just breathing in and breathing out at a rhythm, a pace, a depth that feels right, that feels comfortable for you. As with every breath, you have a sense of yourself, your embodied self, your experiencing self, being here in this moment with no other demands being made of you, nowhere else you need to be, just here, invited into your heart, breathing in and breathing out in relationship with the earth. And if you have difficulty moving into your heart space, maybe you've had a busy day today, or your mind is particularly chatty, that's okay. But on your next in-breath, just inviting you to bring into your heart's awareness someone or something who particularly makes your heart smile or sing. It could be a partner, a beloved animal companion, or somewhere on this beautiful earth of ours that you particularly love, that means something to you. And then just grow that reverence, that deep attention, deep listening, gratitude for this being or this part of the world. Just grow that in your heart with every breath. As you feel deeply into, sense deeply into your heart space, appreciating, feeling reverence for whatever it is that you've brought into your heart space. And every breath sinking your attention deeper and deeper into your heart. Maybe as you're doing this, you're having a sense of all the qualities of your heart, these loving, caring qualities. And perhaps having a sense that when you move into this space and you give your heart time, you give your awareness time to sink into your heart, there's a different quality of awareness here. There's something different here. And so just opening up to the possibility of deepening into this space, your heart space, this organ of knowing. And then all those beautiful feelings of reverence, appreciation, care. Just let them start to spill now out of your body, out of your heart, into every part of your body, all your cells, your bones, all the muscles of your body. As your heart radiates all its beautiful qualities out into your whole body, from the top of your head to the ends of your toes, to the ends of your fingertips. And allow yourself to be loved, to be held, to be showered in all the beautiful qualities of your heart. Perhaps you can feel this nourishment moving into every fiber, atom, cell of your being. As you just deepen into your heart and your heart's way with every breath. And perhaps just making a little commitment, a little affirmation that you might spend more time here. That this is a place that perhaps feels good, that is nourishing, that resources you. And so maybe if it feels right, just offering a little commitment, a little intention to your heart to return often. And just in these few minutes, you do this as often as you can, whenever you remember, Just come back into this space with a touch of your palm over your heart or a breath into your heart, and just grow those feelings of appreciation, of deep reverence in your heart. And then allow those feelings to just spill out into every fiber of your being as they nourish you. And your heart will thank you so much for it. And you will also have so much to thank your heart for. And also now just opening up to whatever this evening may bring. Just opening your heart's awareness. The heart is all about curiosity and wonder and just sitting in the not knowing, but being excited about what might arise. More expansive, deeper way of engaging with the world. So just opening up to the possibility of new ideas, a deepening relationship with your own heart as this session unfolds today. So thanking your heart, becoming conscious now of your breath once more, taking some deep breaths in and out. And I'm just now going to invite you to become aware of your physical body that sat on the seat beneath you. Really feeling your body against the chair. That's feeling the soles of your feet against the floor. And also as you breathe in and out, becoming aware of the sounds within the room around you and outside. As with every breath, you just rise and rise in your conscious awareness, returning to the present moment in your own time and in your own way, and returning and opening your eyes when you're ready, coming back to the room in your own time, your own way, perhaps rubbing your palms together to get the energy shifting. As we've all just sank into our hearts in our own way here in this space today. So, yeah, just really excited to be here with you. And Mary, are you okay if I just read a couple of pages from...
Please
does that
do.
sound like a good thing to do now?
Definitely, especially
Okay.
that lovely meditation on the heart, definitely.
All right. So I speak with my heart every day, as those of you who know me sort of understand. And I was asking my heart today, what should I share with you? What would you like to hear? And I know that some of you don't necessarily know my story and why I started doing this work and why I took the journey that I did. And my heart said, Louise, open your book at chapter 4 and just start reading from there. So I'm just going to read a couple of pages, and it'll just give you a bit of information, a bit of background about me and where I'm coming from. So again, there's just an invitation. And this is for those of you who've maybe read a little bit of the book or done some work with me, you know that every time we move into a space together, we are always receiving from the heart space. So this is again just another invitation to just close your eyes if you want to. I think Mary and I were talking today as well when we were saying, if you want to get up and move around and do that, you can. Don't feel like you just have to sit on screen. You can listen to whatever it is that's being spoken as you move around. So please feel free to do that. But just bringing your attention back to your heart, either by the breath or placing a palm over your heart or doing both. And just opening up your heart to hear. So, as a young girl, I recall family holidays in the mystical, magical and windswept land of the Penwith Peninsula in Cornwall in the UK. I have precious memories of being in deep conversation with trees, stones, plants and animals, I was in the world differently. I knew the world differently. My experience was one of deep relating and embodiment, engaging with the world with all the ways of knowing available to me as a human being. Seeing, hearing, tasting, feeling, smelling, as well as deep knowing, intuition, imagination, and all the other ways that we come to know our place as experiencing beings in the world. The world unfolded in its wholeness through me, and I excitedly participated in living, loving relationship with every single energy within the manifesting world through all my ways of knowing: heart, body, mind, and soul. My heart was on fire. The world was my classroom, and my heart was my teacher. As I grew older and moved to high school, I, like many young people educated in the contemporary West, began to make the journey out of my body and the unfolding truth of my lived experience into the rational intellect situated in the brain, and the take of the left hemisphere in particular. Direct, lived, subjective experience and the vast capacity of the imagination for engaging with the deeper, wider context of life were not valued as true ways of making sense of the world that I was required to live in. To fit into the new world of adulthood, I needed to learn how to be an objective observer, distanced from the worlds unfolding through me. Now, not only was I required to justify my subjective experience, but the legacy of this requirement resulted in a fundamental mistrust of my lived experience and consequently led to devaluing it entirely. As the years went by, my perspective of the world became narrower and narrower, and the world fell silent. As the late depth psychologist Carl Jung laments, when we lose a deeper way of connecting with each other and the earth, he says, "No river contains a spirit, no tree is the life principle of a man, no snake the embodiment of wisdom, no mountain cave the home of a great demon. No voices now speak to man from stones, plants, and animals, and nor does he speak to them, believing they can hear." What I did not understand at such a young age was that the world had not stopped inviting me into relationship and speaking to me, but it was me who would stop taking part and listening. I had closed the possibility of continuing my intimate relationship with a richly complex, deeply communicative world by closing the main perceptive lens best placed to make sense of this subtle, complex conversation. For me, that was my heart. And this loss was deep, and grief pained my heart. Throughout my early teenage years, I experienced debilitating chest pain that often rendered me unable to breathe properly. I would make frequent visits to my GP, and nothing physically wrong could ever be found. In 1990, at the age of 18, I contracted a life-threatening virus. Having been admitted to hospital experiencing severe fatigue, breathlessness, and dizziness, I underwent numerous medical investigations, ECGs, echocardiograms, and blood tests. Following a chest x-ray, I recall a cardiologist informing me that there was what appeared to be, in his own words, a black shadow over my heart. My condition appeared to baffle the medics, and as no diagnosis or treatment was forthcoming, 5 days after admission, I took a turn for the worse, and I was rushed into intensive care. In the early hours of the 14th of August, I experienced my first cardiac arrest, having 2 further events over the course of the next 24 hours. Eventually, I was diagnosed with a condition called myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle, and I spent the next 3 months in hospital. After being discharged, I made a slow yet good recovery, moving forward with my life, graduating from university with a business degree, and marrying at the age of 24. Sadly, the marriage failed, and in the years that followed, conflict and distress ravaged my life, both internally and externally. Close relationships were deteriorating, And internally, I was suffering with severe anxiety, panic attacks, and depression, and I was experiencing ongoing physical health issues. Life was increasingly becoming unbearable, and I began to experience a cardiac condition called atrial fibrillation, a very fast and irregular heartbeat, which had devastating effects upon me, including being unable to work because of the debilitating physical symptoms. My anxiety worsened, and I became agoraphobic as I slowly lost faith in my heart's ability to keep me healthy and alive. I became obsessed, listening to every single beat of my heart during my waking hours, convinced that if I did not keep a watch over my heart, it would stop and I would die. One night in the mid-2000s, I recall waking up in a severe state of anxiety. I felt completely helpless, unable to deal with my damaged relationship with my heart, and feeling suffocated under the weight of never-ending conflict that seemed to rage within my own body and in my external world. In that moment, I did not know what else to do, who I could turn to for support, and I seriously considered taking my own life. In that moment, however, in one of the darkest moments I have ever experienced, something stopped me. The only way I can describe this event is a profound intuitive sense that my heart was speaking urgently to me, and that to survive and live well into the future, I needed to pay attention and listen. And these were the words that I heard from my heart. Please, please stop this. You are killing me. This conflict is your own creation, yet you also have the power to change it. The heart that I met in this experience broke through into my awareness, inviting me to expand beyond my worldview and take seriously my heart's message, moving beyond what religious scholar Professor Jeffrey Kripal terms a simple rational rereading. I felt an urgent need to engage as fully as I could with my heart, and so I made a pledge to understand what had happened to me, and this has meant reconnecting with my heart and learning my heart's language. On the journey, I had to unlearn much of both what I had taken for granted about the heart and taken on as truth. Over the next decade, despite not being able to rationally make sense of what has happened, as there was no framework available for me to hold this extraordinary experience, I did my best to listen and to not reduce this life-changing experience into narrow, pathologized terms. This was not easy, and I had no idea what I was searching for. Indeed, very often the world that our knowledge reveals is clouded through the lens that we have become accustomed to using. What was interesting for me was that from the viewpoint of the perceptual framework that I had been educated into, strange things started to happen. Books would fall off the shelf and open at a specific page that would help to answer a question I was carrying. Synchronous events would take place, and emails would appear at exactly the right time. One of these strange events led me to postgraduate study at the Schumacher College, where I studied for an MSc in holistic science, and then onwards to Canterbury Christ Church University, where I gained a PhD in transformative learning through the Faculty of Education. Looking back, these were not strange occurrences from the heart's perspective. They were only strange from a materialist, reductionist framework of knowing. These were ways that my heart was speaking to me in its own valid language, trying to make itself heard so that it could support, hold, and guide me to live a healthy, happy, flourishing life, as well as to redeem the importance of the heart as an organ of knowing for contemporary times. As I deepened into my heart and learned to communicate with my heart, I experienced what I can only describe as a reawakening of every cell, atom, and fiber of my being. For the first time in a long time, I felt alive. A door was opening onto a vast and beautiful landscape of possibilities and potentialities. My heart was welcoming me and letting me know that my intuitive feelings about the day-to-day world were okay and that I could question them. In that very act of acceptance of me, I felt seen and heard by my heart. What I was learning under my heart's guidance, or what I felt I was being initiated into, as this felt like such a special, sacred journey with my heart, was my heart's way, a natural, intuitive, common sense way of being in and knowing the world and life itself, the common sense of the heart. so.
Thank you, Louise. What a beautiful
Thank you.
part of your book to share. Must be so deeply meaning for you, even as you read it today, I'm sure, and you've read and reread it and heard it many times yourself. And I think it's really empowering for others, first of all, just to hear that, because it's sort of auto-ethnographical, isn't it? So it's that shift from where we study things outside to moving inside, and a personal experience rather than something that might just refer to other people. And it's that's which can guide us into
Yes.
deeper knowing, and then draw it
Yeah.
out from deeper knowing into the wider world and understand how it might apply in other
Yes.
fields, and for other people
Yes.
to help them and to give them hope and faith. But it's more than that as well. It's very beautiful how you write as well, and I just wondered if you could first of all just sort of brief. So that's from part four.
Yeah. It's chapter 4 of
It's
part 1.
chapter four of part one. Yeah. So that's chapter four of part one. So you lay that out in the beginning. Yes. And so because your intro is takes people in very gently into the work, and then you have four parts to the book.
Yes.
And would you just talk us through roughly what those sort of four parts consist of,
Yeah, of course I can.
and the areas that you look at?
Yeah, so part 1 is really a grounding into the work, sort of asking whether someone is ready. It's about the philosophy of the work, how I got into it, which is obviously part of what I've just read, helping people to prepare for the journey. Part 2 is about the theory, getting to know the heart story, probably from a kind of very theoretical perspective, helping people to understand all the different ways that the heart has lived in across cultures from the beginning of time, since the beginning of written records. And how we know the heart now in our modern contemporary world. So it's really creating a platform for the heart story to be told and understood. And it's been told many times, actually, in lots and lots of books. So, but I think where I come from with my work, and I think this probably addresses maybe Michelle's question in the chat as well. So I'm going to address this at the same time.
Yes, about heart math. Yeah.
Is that I'm very aware of HeartMath's work, and I think what they do is incredible. And I have actually done some work with them, and sort of run a couple of sessions with the UK-based HeartMath people. Where I think my work differs, it's kind of from a philosophical perspective. It's the conversations that I'm having with my heart, and a number of hearts that have been revealed to me through, basically, I've been channeling my heart's guidance and tuition in a way. You could, I don't necessarily like the word channeling, but it's like I've been listening to what my heart's been saying to me, and that then has been formed into a framework of words. So, so part 2 was advised by my heart to be about the heart story, the theory of the heart, how we come to know the heart, but also placed alongside Ian McGilchrist's work in relation to his left and right brain hemisphere, and how the two hemispheres have sort of flourished and waned over time as well, since the time of the pre-Socratics. And I believe that because of how the brain has flourished and the hemispheres have flourished and waned over the time since the pre-Socratics, that's actually had an effect on how we view the heart. So from a left brain hemisphere perspective, particularly in our contemporary Western world and from the time of the Enlightenment and William Harvey's heart in 1628, our heart that we engage with in the Western contemporary world is a very scientific heart. It's a medicalized heart. That's how we know the heart. And so the framework that then surrounds the heart is very physical. It's very medicalized. And what I found when I heard my heart speaking to me was like, well, I have no framework. I actually have no framework to engage with a speaking heart that is speaking to me. I could have looked at the religious literature. but that didn't feel right either. And so it felt like I needed to just have this conversation outside of a religious discourse, perhaps outside of the spiritual discourse, and try and find a discourse that could hold it and give me an expansive space for me to actually go really deep into what my heart wanted me to know. And that was the discourse of depth psychology and transformative learning, which is where I got my PhD from. That was the discipline that I got my PhD in. So that's part two. That's all the kind of theory and the research. Part three is deepens into the different hearts that presented themselves to me as I was having a daily conversation with my heart through my PhD research. So again, I'm channeling, I'm listening to what my heart's saying. I'm responding to dreams. I'm taking them seriously. I'm taking spontaneously arising images seriously, because this is an imaginal methodology. It takes seriously the imagination. And then, so I really take seriously these things that are arising through my imaginal awareness, the way that I know through the imagination. And then I follow that up with critique, with research. I go to the books and I look at the books. So in that sense, there are 5 hearts that you're introduced to in part 3 of the book, and there are contemplative exercises to support people to engage with those different hearts. And then part 4 is about actually, how do I bring all of this knowledge, all this deepening into my heart, all these contemplative exercises, how do I bring all of this as a philosophy from the heart into my daily life? So there's a lot there. And you know, that's why it's a book that cannot really be read from cover to cover in sort of a couple of days, because it's inviting a reader constantly into their heart, to deepen into the conversation with their own heart, however that may look for them. I simply open a door and show the way as much as I can, and then invite people to have their own journey with their own heart.
Amazing. It's a wonderful book. I haven't read the whole of it yet. I've read lots of parts of it all the way through. And I think, I mean, is it that kind of book as well that you can sort of dip into and almost do that sort of spontaneous, because I've done that a few times, that spontaneous thing, just opening, see where the page opens. And there's always some wisdom on the page as well.
Yeah. Now, our beloved Geoffrey Cornelius would call that bibliomancy, wouldn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He would say, you know, there's some, and I mean, I think, yes, this kind of divinatory aspect to the heart is actually part of one's an imaginal awareness. So yes, I think you could, if you wanted to, go to the book, put your palm over your heart, just breathe in and out, and then just say, heart, what is it that you would like me to show? What is it you would like to teach me today? And then open the book up. But there is also something to be said for actually following the chapters through and the parts through as they are written, because as they have been channeled. So I think you could do it both ways, but I wouldn't necessarily exclude the linear journey, because there's so much richness there. And I think one really has to understand how the heart is understood in our contemporary Western framework now, and why that's happened, or my research, which suggests that's why we have a relationship with our heart in the way that we do, because it's physical. And so therefore, in that framework, all you can do is put any other heart, a religious heart or an emotional feeling heart, in a little box that is actually not enough. It doesn't give the emotional feeling heart room to breathe or to live, and then it's sentimentalized, or it's just seen as metaphor, and then you can't take it seriously.
Yeah. And you mention quite a bit throughout, and today as well, and for those of us who don't know, many of us do, of course, but some of us might not know what you mean by the heart as an organ of imaginal perception. So could you just unpack that a little bit for some of us, please?
I can, and it's a really good question. So the idea of the heart as an organ of imaginal perception was really inspired by the religious philosopher Henri Corbin and his work with the Sufi mystic tradition. excuse me, and Henri Corbin and the Sufi mystic tradition basically says that through your heart, if you are practicing what the Sufi mystics call the prayer of the heart, so they're sort of constantly polishing their heart through prayer, through ritual, wanting to clear out what they sort of call rust, any rust or debris or anything that is preventing the heart from knowing God, seeing the divine. So the idea of the prayer of the heart is to polish the inside of the heart like a mirror. And so through the prayer of the heart, you become purer, you become clearer. And then in the polishing of the heart then is able to reflect God, the image of God. You can meet God through the prayer of the heart, and God melts into your own heart, melts in the one who is praying. I mean, just think that's so beautiful. So in that sense, in a kind of religious perspective, the heart is the place through which one can have a conversation with God, with an image of God. You can see an image of God directly in your heart. So that's through a religious perspective. And then what James Hillman did, he was so inspired by Henri Corbin's work, and James Hillman is a depth psychologist who used to work with Carl Jung. He basically thought, well, if there is a bridge, if the heart provides a bridge between the divine and the ordinary day-to-day world and God, then could the heart provide a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious parts of the psyche of the human being? And so James Hillman took Hillman's work a little bit deeper, expanded it into depth psychological terms, and said that if we started to think of the heart as a place through which images arise, so this could be through intuition, deep knowing, dream imagery, for example. Synchronicity, I have learned, actually arises through my heart. I would expect the heart to arise through the heart. Moments of revelation arising through the heart. So in that sense, the imagination is the place through which the world in its wholeness and in its complexity can speak. It doesn't speak in the way that we're speaking here in English necessarily. Sometimes it does to some people, but to others it's image-led, it's symbols, it's poetry, it's just this deep sense of knowing. You see something and then you just know something in the very core of your being. It's that. The imagination as a concrete reality, a place that perhaps we knew when we were children, a place that we would have imaginary friends. And it's not fantasy. It's not fantasy. This place is concrete. It's an actual living reality in conversation with the unfolding of the world through us. And I would understand that as occurring through my heart.
Beautiful. When you were writing it, and obviously, you've kind of been researching for many years, and I know when you were sort of writing it, you were probably, it's kind of taking aspects of your PhD, but obviously we change as people,
Yeah.
Even since you completed your PhD. But in your research, who did you find the sort of most inspiring, and what newer insights came to you as you were making your own journey through your writing process?
Yeah, those are really good questions. I have my academic friends. So I am always speaking about the depth psychologist Robert Ramanujan, because his imaginal methodology and his book, The Wounded Researcher, gave me the framework within which I could actually start to have a conversation with my heart through what he put forward as transference dialogues. So through these this methodological framework, through transference dialogues, which was actually imagining, he talks about the research having its way with you. And in this context, my research was my heart. And so I had to start having a conversation with my heart. That was what I knew I needed to do in my PhD research. So I actually just set up this little seat in my imagination. I would go into the contemplative space, much the same as I've guided us here today. And I would just see my heart sitting on a seat in front of me. And the first couple of times I did that, it was just so painful. I can't tell you how painful it was. It was one of the most difficult things I think I've ever done in my entire life, because there was still a lot of fear there from all the experiences that I'd had physically, over many, many years. But then through the transference dialogues, just through deep attending and just deep listening, I just kept feeling this love, this acceptance coming from my heart, and this deep pain. It was like my heart was just a shell of itself. And it was me who wasn't able to hold my heart in a framework that could allow it to live fully. So I just thank Robert Romanushin from the depths of my heart for offering me that framework to help me to even do this work, because without that, and then also you bring in James Hillman, as I've already mentioned, and Henri Corbin, and their understanding, which Robert Romanushin actually does refer to as well. It was like there was something unfolding for me through my heart that was like saying, come, Louise, come back home to your heart. You know, you can do this. And there's so much that I can tell you and that you need to know. So I think those are my three people or academic friends that were just such a key part of the heart sense journey unfolding, as well as all the other people. Like, you know, Lyndon's here today, you know, thank you, Lyndon. You know, Angela Voss, you know, my supervisor, who, you know, just took a chance on me and, you know, believed in the project all the way. You, Mary, all the conversations we had. So, you know, I think there are so many people who I'm so grateful to, and it takes a village to raise this heart into this space, and that's what I think has happened.
It's so inspiring. Where do you think, I mean, what would, you know, if someone's going to sort of pick up the book and read it, what would you hope they see, feel, or experience through it? If I know it's very hard to sort of predict, isn't it? I mean, you just hope that someone's moved and touched by one's
Yeah.
words, and I'm sure they will be. But did you have any sort of specific ideas and plans, if you like, for the future, how this might move out more into the world?
I I don't know whether I had any specific plans. It always felt like something, an urgent call from my heart. I mean, I always say often I'm in service to the work. It's me trying to find a shape, the right shape to form around what my heart's giving me. And, you know, I'm constantly asking my heart, is this right? Am I doing this? Am I doing justice to what it is you are trying to show me or say to me? Because very often it doesn't speak in, well, my heart doesn't speak in words. It gives me feelings, and then I have to translate that. So, and you know, in very many parts of the book, I would spend days and weeks over certain sentences and paragraphs just to make sure that I was doing justice to what my heart was trying to say to me. I would feel it and then have to shape it. So I guess I hadn't really given thought into in terms of what my hopes were, but then my heart is now saying to me, look, Louise, I always say to you, I am holding a vision open for you to live into my vision for you. And all that I need you to do is to hold that vision open for others to live into their heart's vision for them. So I guess that's what this is about. Offering people just a way, if it resonates, for them to deepen into this, their own heart's vision for them through how my heart has actually taught me and guided me. So I sit at the feet of my heart. As I say, I've said this before, if my heart could have feet, but I just see myself as just on my knees in front of my heart, just bringing forward what my heart wants me to know in every moment. And my hope, I guess, is that this touches hearts, and that we touch hearts, you know, open hearts by hearts by hearts by hearts. So we start to really co-create the world of our heart's vision.
Amazing. And when you were writing, and when you were kind of obviously not just writing, but you know, you're living this, and then you happen to write, and obviously, you know, those of us who have been in this world for a while and understand transformative learning, when you read a book, a novel, a book such as yours, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, it's not just a thing, it's an alive thing. Something becomes alive between us when we're reading and what we're reading, and there's something activated between the two. And what did you find? Because we've spoken about the sort of the inspirations and the light. What were the darknesses or the dark or the depths and the shadows that you encountered in your process? And the two things there, were there depths and shadows where you thought, actually, no, this is not what the heart's trying to say, and that you all could almost go down another tunnel, if you
Mm,
like. And then what were those sort of feelings that brought you back to actually, no, it's this
mm.
instead?
Wow, that's a good question. Okay, there were very challenging times during my research journey. Just thinking that I sometimes was going maybe a little bit mad, that I couldn't do it. So there was a lot of self-doubt as I was doing the journey, because um, trying to hear my heart was difficult over the cacophony of the sort of voices in the mind that were saying, you know, no, this is ridiculous, and how are you going to do this, and it's not going to make any sense to anybody. So yeah, there were some very, very sort of dark moments, which I guess were about my self-doubt. Lots of I don't think I had any moments where I thought, oh, I'm going off down this route and it doesn't feel like my heart. Can't quite remember that, Mary, at this moment in time. But now I guess I could answer your question now in terms of, because like you say, this work lives through me. It isn't finished. It's continually unfolding. So I know now when I've popped out of my heart, because it feels different. I mean, I've been doing this a long time now, but it does feel different. So I have a sense of when I'm sort of being dragged back into, you know, those feelings of lack, self-doubt, you know, feeling down or heavy. I know then that actually I probably need to just go back into my heart, contemplate, and get into that space again, because my heart would be conversing with me differently. It wouldn't be saying those self-deprecating things that the chatter's giving me. But yeah, it wasn't an easy journey. And I know, you know, past students have also said to me that they've gone to some difficult places too, of their own. But actually, it's actually the simple practice of coming back to their heart, breathing back into their hearts, and then just going back in, placing your attention there. So this is not about thinking about the heart and what it would think from a distance place, from the mind. It's about going in here and listening and feeling and coming into relationship with the world from there, which has a completely different quality.
Yeah, no, makes sense. And what were your, I know you sort of spoken about your teachers, you know, as we've always spoken about anything that arises for an individual in that has a deep feeling and a deep connection, we always need to try and find a framework for it to hang it on. Otherwise, we don't really know. We're wandering around in the dark, as it were. And you
Yeah.
and you did that with this. So we've spoken about your teachers, you know, your sort of most inspiring teachers as well. Those three, Corbin, Hillman, and Ramanujan. But when you were writing, did you have any sort of aha revelatory moments in the process of writing?
Yes.
And what can you remember any of those? Because it's quite a wonderful thing to occur when one's writing, isn't it? That in the process of writing, you suddenly get these aha moments that you couldn't sit and sort of pre-think before you write, as it were.
Yeah, there was a big aha moment when I was writing the book. And it was, you know, I was trying to explain, you know, this book will take you into a number of hearts, 5 different hearts. And when I was doing my PhD research, at the time, obviously, I'd only managed to get as far as 3 hearts that I was engaging with: the physical heart, the emotional feeling heart, and what I called at the time the holistic heart. Now, the holistic heart was born in the labyrinth, in the heart of the labyrinth, at Canterbury Christ Church University in the Priory. And I had this most incredible experience, which I don't really have the time to share here. But as I was writing this, I was thinking, oh my goodness me, the holistic heart was holding all the other hearts. But it was just, I had to kind of live backwards into what that actually meant. I hadn't had the time, I hadn't had the space to actually go deeper into what the holistic heart meant at the time when it came into my awareness at Canterbury Christchurch. So I actually write in the book that doesn't mean to say that the research was wrong. It just means to say and to show that the heart sense journey, and if we're working with our hearts on a daily basis, that your heart will be changing, you will be changing, your understanding will be changing, and everything changes and deepens as you journey deeper and deeper with this work. So that was a real revelatory moment to me, and like an affirmation of the work that I was doing.
So can you just describe again? So you had the three hearts in your PhD, and then what were the five hearts that ended up in the book, so people can hear
So
those?
the five hearts in the book are the physical heart, the emotional feeling heart, which we already knew and were always already in my thesis. The holistic heart then turned into the heart as the sacred vessel, the spiraling heart, and the symbolic heart, and more besides since then, because my journey, this heart sense journey, has not stopped for me either. So in total now, I've been working with 12 hearts, and there's another heart that is now opening up and guiding me. Honestly, it's just incredible. It really is just such a privilege to be doing this work.
Do you want to share your hearts, or is that kind of
Well,
wait
like, yeah,
some
maybe
of
we'll,
them?
because I don't want to confuse people, but yeah,
Yeah,
courageous heart, authentic heart,
yeah,
alchemical heart, yeah, just
yeah.
different hearts. But what I do say to people as well is that is how these hearts have expressed themselves to me. And if you have other hearts that you're engaging with, then that's brilliant, because that means that you are deepening into a relationship with your own heart too.
Mm.
All this work is doing is showing the way. It's not rigid, it's not dogmatic, it's just a way of giving permission for people to engage deeply with their heart in a framework that actually is enabling and invitational.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the book in particular that you really feel that you want people to know about or to inform them of?
I don't think so. I think your questions have actually been really, really wonderful, Mary. You've actually enabled me to, sort of bring through a lot of the things that, I've grappled with over the years. So there's nothing there that I can think of right now, anyway.
And your cards that you have, do they loosely correspond to the book as well?
Yeah, so I do work with oracle cards in my heart sense action groups and in my sort of mentoring sessions. And they do correspond directly with all the hearts in the book. Yes, and I'm trying to find a way of getting them sort of mass produced, but I'm sort of seem to be hitting a bit of a brick wall at the moment. But yeah.
Mm. Wonderful. And did you want to, I mean, I'm sure I've got some more questions, but I don't want to hog the space. And I'm sure we've got quite a lot of people here. Did you want to open to Q&A now and then
Well, I just
did you want to read
wondered,
a bit more?
did people want to do a little contemplation into some of the hearts whilst we're online?
Yeah,
Maybe
that'd be
about 10 or
lovely.
15 minutes, because I think we've got enough time. It looks
Yes,
like
we
we're
have
25 minutes past the
25
hour.
past.
Would that be all right, Mary?
Yeah, I'd
How
love
does
to.
everyone think? Would you like to do a little contemplation with me?
Into
Yeah.
one of the hearts.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
lovely.
let's go back in and we'll experience some of the hearts, and then we can have a little Q&A afterwards. Perhaps how people found the experience. That might be quite nice. Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Super.
All right. Thank you, Mary. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen again, this lovely image, which is the altar of the book. I think it brings us back into the heart in a really lovely way. So inviting you to close your eyes if you haven't already done so. You might like to place your palm or your palms over your heart. And just, again, breathe in and out of your heart. Taking some slow, steady breaths deep, deep into your heart space. And maybe if it feels right for you, bringing into your heart's awareness someone or something that makes your heart smile and sing. And with every breath, just deepening into your heart's beautiful, benevolent qualities. Whatever that means for you. Perhaps reverence, deep attention, deep listening, care, gratitude, sense of peace, stillness, maybe. The still, quiet space of your heart. And just now inviting you, if it feels right for you, it's just an invitation, a gentle invitation for you to expand, widen, deepen your heart. So you could do this through a sense of knowing or intuition, or imagining visually your heart just expanding and widening and deepening, or just feeling or knowing, having a sense that your heart has widened and deepened and expanded so big, so wide, so deep that you are completely enfolded and encircled within it. And you are held within your heart. And you might just like to take a moment just to have a look around. Perhaps just feel into the strength of this heart that loves you, that honors you for exactly who you are in this moment right now, all that you are in your wholeness. This heart supports you, has your back always. And this is a place that I come to often, especially when the world is very chaotic and there are challenges in my life. This is a heart that is like a temple, a sanctuary, a place of refuge. This is your heart as a sacred vessel. I know as the heart as a sacred vessel, as communicated to me by my heart through the research that I've been doing and my postdoctoral work. So just opening up a possibility for you to experience this place in your own heart. Just taking a look around this space. And just trusting whatever it is that is there. There may be nothing there at all, but just a lovely feeling of peace and safety and being held. As you move into this space, you are moving into your imagination. Your heart is an organ of imaginal perception. It is not fantasy. It is a place where you can communicate with your heart. And if anything arises spontaneously, just take it seriously just for now. And thanking this heart, just taking a moment just to thank this heart as it showers you with its love and gratitude for you. Maybe you can allow yourself to feel nourished by all the love and the care and the reverence that your heart has for you. And then just breathing in and out and just shifting your attention just slightly now. And inviting you to become aware of your physical heart. So as you just draw your attention to your physical heart, you may feel your heart now beating in your chest. You may feel a warmth under your palm or spreading across your chest, or have a tingling, or nothing at all. Whatever it is that you're experiencing is right for you in your relationship with your heart. And as you breathe into and out of your physical heart and connect with this heart, just inviting you to bring into your awareness that this heart, your physical heart, was the first organ to form in your mother's womb as you were growing as a fetus in your mother's womb. And this heart has been your traveling companion ever since, supporting you to experience the physical world. Beating hundreds of thousands of times a day. This is the heart perhaps that we're most familiar with, but that doesn't negate all the other hearts and their wisdom. So just thanking this heart, thanking your physical heart for all that it gives you, how it helps you to experience the physical world. And then inviting you to breathe in deeply into your heart again and out once more. And shifting your attention now into your emotional, your feeling heart. And maybe this heart is feeling a little tender today. Especially when we know this heart through a framework of knowing that lets it live in a particular way, but that's not its whole story. So the emotional feeling heart, just inviting you now to conceive of this heart as responding, as James Hillman says, to the calls of the world, as the world reaches out its invitations to you. So we are energetic beings, and we are invited in the relational space into all kinds of things, all kinds of relationships every day, every minute of every moment of every day. And so our emotional feeling heart lets us know about how we feel about those invitations. An email popping in with an opportunity, a knock on the door, perhaps having a difficult relationship with somebody. How do we move? How do we react in those situations? The emotional feeling heart responds to these energies, these invitations in motion, flowing through us, through our heart. So this heart is far from sentimental, far, far from irrational. It is a valid and important heart, one to take notice of. So perhaps just opening up your awareness just to engage with this heart differently. Maybe come to know this heart perhaps for the first time in its fullest sense. Be willing to engage more deeply with this heart in its fullest sense. Maybe just saying to this heart, I may not know you as fully as you wish to be known. And I am opening my awareness to get to know you better. For I know you have much to teach. And then just deep breath into your heart and back out from your heart as you thank your emotional and your feeling heart. And then taking a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and we'll just connect with one more heart. And this is your symbolic heart. This heart is also in the book. So the symbolic heart has made itself known to me as the place through which the world speaks in its rich and glorious complexity. So as the world speaks, not necessarily in English, in the way that we are speaking in this space today, but through other ways, deeper ways that make themselves known through deep knowing, intuition, dream imagery, revelatory moments, aha moments, just that deep sense of knowing. Through the symbolic heart, we can take these deeper ways of knowing more seriously in conversation with the world. There's a framework here for us to take these seriously. When we are in the symbolic heart, we no longer have to say, oh, it's just my imagination. Oh, I'm just being irrational. Through our symbolic heart, we can take seriously what this deep knowing, intuition, all these other ways, what they're trying to say to us. So just breathe into your symbolic heart, perhaps for the first time, and just say hello. What does it feel like to be able to take that richness of the world's conversation with you more seriously through your symbolic heart? What avenues, what pathways might this open up for you through your heart in conversation with the world? So just thanking your symbolic heart, giving thanks to all the hearts. Your heart is a sacred vessel, your physical heart, your emotional feeling heart, and your symbolic heart. And as you return to where you started in your heart as a sacred vessel, perhaps you can just marvel, just even in these last 10-15 minutes, at the unfolding and emerging wisdom that you have in your heart that can help you to deepen and expand your conversations with the world. And take your lived experience in direct experience with the world, taking it seriously. So just thanking all your hearts, your heart as a sacred vessel, your emotional feeling heart, your physical heart, your symbolic heart. Making a commitment, if it feels right, to return here often. And then if you have expanded and widened and deepened your heart to enfold, embrace, and encircle you, Just inviting you now just to, with a few breaths, start to bring your heart back into its ordinary, normal physical size under your chest, under your palm. Just letting any images or thoughts just gently dissipate from your heart's awareness just for now. They're still there somewhere within your awareness, but in the next few moments we need to return to the present moment and to the Zoom room together. So just ensuring that your heart now is at its normal size under your palm, in your chest. Thanking your heart once more. And inviting you to start to become aware of your physical body that sat on the seat beneath you. Taking some deep cleansing breaths now and having a sense of the sounds within the room where you're located in your part of the world and outside. And just with every breath now, just rising and rising in your awareness. Returning in your own time and in your own way to the present moment and to the now. And when you feel ready and you're back in the room, please return to the present moment and open your eyes.
For more information about the Heart Sense approach, mentoring, courses, research papers, books, talks, and much more, please visit www.heartsenseresearch.co.uk. Thank you.